What position is more important for the Niners to address? Cornerback or wide receiver? I mean, their wide receiver position's rough. They're starting Dante Pettis. They just signed Mohamed Sanu. He's going to have 1 day of practice. He might start over Pettis. That's tough. On the other hand, they don't have any healthy cornerbacks except for Emmanuel Mosley. They have Emmanuel Mosley. Everyone else is hurt. That's not an overstatement. Does Dante Johnson count? So it's like, look, they could maybe they could trade for Odell Beckham Jr. He's a big name. Would he help the Niners as much as a cornerback right now? Because it seems the Niners can work around not having a great wide receiver. You could throw to running backs. You can throw to tight ends. Jimmy likes throwing short passes over the middle anyway. You don't have to have an all-pro guy outside the numbers. But on defense, if you have such a weakness at cornerback, how do you compete? Unless your defensive line is just overwhelming the quarterback. And that's what they did against the Packers last year. But if the quarterback can buy a little time, that secondary isn't good enough. So it seems like, the Niners might have been saving their cap space for AJ Green or Marvin Jones or Keenan Allen. They may need to save it for a corner. Now, I don't even begin to know which corners are going to be available at the trade deadline. Stephon Gilmore, can they afford him? Is he available? Because he's the best. Somehow I don't think they're getting him. But if they could get him, I would really recommend it. I give him my highest recommendation. You should see this guy, Stephon Gilmore. Heck of a football player. So, yeah, they need to get a corner back. Probably not Gilmore. But if you guys could think of a name, throw him out there, I'm open-minded.
Hey, so I know you're probably tired of talking about Odell at this point.
Let's talk about him.
I feel like Jimmy would be a lot better if he had that security blanket like he did with Sanders last year.
Yeah.
Because I haven't watched much film, but just randomly thinking back on it, that Rams game, I think we had 2 3rd-and-17s in a row, and he felt like he could just throw it up to Sanders over the middle. I think Sanders beat Jalen Ramsey on a post off the left side. And they could pick it up. So that's why I think Odell could really help us out, because Odell can be that security blanket. He can play inside and outside the numbers. And it would help open up just in general, because then defenses wouldn't have to key in on as George Kittle as much. And they could also be looking at Odell too.
I see. Hey, look, if they could get Odell Beckham, he would definitely help the team. He's a great player. Oh, yeah. He'd be their best wide receiver by far.
In a long time.
I just feel like if they were approached with the Browns being like, hey, we'll give you Odell Beckham for a 3rd-round pick, and the Patriots being like, yo, we'll give you Stephon Gilmore for the same thing, I'd have to go for the corner. But it does. Hey, everything you said about Beckham is true, because look at the effect that Sanders had on the offense last year. Beckham would do that plus. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've heard some people saying that we should get Keenan Allen. I don't think that's very realistic at all. Like, I don't think there's any chance, especially since the Chargers just gave him a new deal. I don't think he's leaving there.
Good point. But Beckham, actually, that is realistic, because they just put him on the trade block? They said they're trying to trade him?
Supposedly. Odell's not on the trade block until he gets traded.
I don't get it. I mean, they hire an offensive coordinator to be their head coach. I imagine in the interviews they asked him, what do you think of Odell Beckham Jr. and how are you going to make this work? I imagine he had a whole long spiel on how he likes the competitor and the kind of guy he is, and I'm going to use him XYZ ways, and it falls apart after one game. Nice.
Yeah, nice. No. I do feel like the people tend to overreact over week one. I feel like he could come in. He just hasn't been the same since he's gotten to Cleveland. Because I was going through Twitter. PFF had him ranked as the number 130th receiver ever since he went to Cleveland in the league. He went from top 20 to 130.
I think he's the kind of guy like Jamal Adams. Yeah, agree. I think he's the kind of guy like Jamal Adams who needs to be on a good, or like Minka Fitzpatrick, who needs to be on a good team and feel, he's not used to losing. Didn't lose in college. Now he's losing in the pros, and he just checks out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I think. And also, I don't know of any other corners, because I never heard anything about Stephon Gilmore being available. It's like, why would the Patriots trade him?
I know. I don't understand that. They wouldn't. But I can't think of any corner that would be available.
Yeah, exactly. And if a corner was available, like, what would you pay for him?
I know. And it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
I would just draft the corner in the first round every year. That's me. But they never listen to me.
No, they should.
I mean, they like Javon Kinlaw. He looked good. The guy had 1 tackle. That's great. But he's not going to help you cover DeAndre Hopkins. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Your
no,
game is
I get that, and I feel like especially with you talked about how with Kyler containing him, how Vic Fangio, I think that was their D coordinator. I could be wrong. How you pretty much said he said that when against a mobile quarterback, never get behind him in the field,
That's
and
right.
I don't know why they just allow our D line to just go all the way up. It's like pretty much
And they've
anyone would
faced him
know
twice before. It's too bad.
exactly. No, it's
Yeah. And they got to face Russell Wilson and Cam Newton. I mean, that's the thing. You got to watch the DNs. If they're getting above the quarterback, they're screwing up because they're giving him super highways out.
And that's how the Rams beat us. Well, almost beat us last year in that second game. They were just running the bootlegs. They knew that our defensive ends are high motor, want to get in on everything, and like they'll just sell on everything.
Correct. So the book is out on the Niners defense. They got to adjust.